Welcome back. We're going to be looking today at how to become a CMA, a Certified Management Accountant. It's oftentimes kind of thought of as the second best credential for accountants. It depends who you ask, but the kind of the gold standard in America is the CFA, the Certified Public Accountant. Now, the nice thing about the CMA is it's actually an international certification. So if you're living abroad or if you're thinking about working abroad or something that you think you might want to do in the future, CMA might be a good look. I'm sure you're probably pretty aware that there are different accounting standards, GAAP in the United States, IFRS internationally. How many people are looking for this certification? At the very end, I'll switch over and I'll look at also the number of results that come up for the CPA. And so if you're kind of teetering between those two designations, that might be helpful for you to think about. So I'm going to look here. You can go, and I'll leave these websites, but basically there's a nice handbook put out by the organization that does the CMA. And what they usually say is that the CMA is pretty much for people who want to make strategic decisions inside a corporation. It's not the most beloved designation if you want to work in, say, an accounting firm, the Big Four, or some of those second-tier accounting firms. But if you'd like to work in corporate America, then this is going to be a little bit better at looking for efficiencies, look at costs, and where the CPA is going to be looking a lot more at the current regulations, creating audit accounts or audit reports that are absolutely up to the latest standards. So looking at the CMA, the thing that we're looking at today, there is an educational qualification and there's also a work qualification. So we'll start with the educational. You need a bachelor's degree from an accredited college. So what about the experience qualification? Well, the nice thing is that, long story short, basically they're going to give you 7 years. Yeah, they're going to give you a number of years in order to complete. So you can take the exam now, and then you can hopefully use that to leverage yourself into a job in finance. And then you're going to be able to eventually, the certification is going to show up. But at that point, you already have the job. Hopefully, you've already proven yourself as an adequate person, and you've proven to them that you have the understanding of the knowledge necessary to pass the exam. So here's some of the jobs. I'll just let you look at it. You have about 300 hours total if you want to be on the safe side to study for both parts, which is nice compared to some of these other certifications that take 30 hours of accounting, plus you have to then spend maybe 1,000 hours of studying to get some of these certifications. All told, you're going to spend somewhere between $900 and $1,300 just to take the exam. If you decide to buy the test prep, it's going to be another $1,000 to $1,500 if these discounts are legit. This is it. I pass the CMA certification. This just says, yep, you can take a test anytime there's a testing window, and there are 3 testing windows per year. This one says the same thing, but May, June. So here we go. January, February, May, June, September, October. So the thing is, if you are one of these people and you're like a normal person that you happen to fail one of these sections, which is very likely for the first part, especially if you don't hit those really high number of hours of preparation. So, say that on average you're gonna fail one of these 2. If that happens to you, that's not uncommon, right? Well, the thing is, you can go right back out and take it just a few months later, and that's nice because, for example, the CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst program, you basically have to wait a year to retest. 3 years, 3 testing windows per year. That gives you 9 shots at passing 2 tests. The downside of that is that you're going to be paying, if you re-register, somewhere like $300 to $400 each time you sit for it. It's a test. But if you take I'm also doing the Chartered Financial Analyst exam, and I'm on that track, but it can be anywhere from like $600 to, if you register late, it's like $1,400 just to sit for one part of those exams. So that gives you some idea of what we're looking at. Now, I want you to see here, we're going to look, like I said, we're going to look at LinkedIn, Indeed, Monster, and Glassdoor. And I'm going to put in here CMA Accountant. You need to put some kind of like... Okay, so looking on LinkedIn, it's not as good in this particular query as some of the other search engines, but basically I put certified accountant CMA because I was getting a lot of these medical results. There's another thing, CMA certified, it's like med aid. So we don't want those, but look, we only get 10 results that come back. We have a CFO, which is probably going to be a bit much if you don't have, if you're making a new transition to this. You have a senior auditor, another senior auditor from H&R Block. We have Varsity tutors, but this is really looking for people to do tutoring. This isn't, yes, this isn't like normal careers. And so that's it. So that's a problem, I would say. Let's go over here. We'll look at what does Indeed have. So I have CMA accountant. That's my search word. I get only 5 jobs. It's the same ones. Auditor. This is working in Saudi Arabia. This is Aramco Saudi Arabia. This is accounting manager. And then one other one here. So let's see what this is. So it does ask for the CMA or the CPA, so that's kind of good for us. I mean, it's kind of a win if we skip some of the arduous path of getting the CPA when all these people care about is the CMA. So Lindsay Corporation is a global manufacturing and tech company headquartered in Oklahoma, Nebraska. And so that's really actually out of state from where we're looking. So that's not so hot. Accounting manager in our area. CMA, CPA, cost accounting experience. And so there you go. So you have two awful results. So I'm going to try, you know what? I'm going to try the same result, but I'm going to go Houston. Houston, Texas. Not a Chicago, not an LA. I get it, but I think it's interesting. Of course, if you go to these massive markets, you're going to see all kinds of jobs for all kinds of stuff. But the point is, how relevant is this to where you live? And so Houston is a lot bigger city. Now we have 20 job results. Accounting supervisor. What does this ask for? Degree in accounting and finance, CMA, CPA, MBA, experience in manufacturing. We have a senior accountant, express employee professionals. Got the same thing from Aramco. We got manager, financial accounting. What are they looking for? Okay, so that's not bad. Accountant, senior accountant, staff accountant. Oof, that doesn't sound like what we're looking for. So that might, out of a whole city, the fact that we're only getting 20 hits, that's definitely the downside. CMA or CPA. So here's the thing. What if I go back up here, and instead of CMA, I put CPA? Let's see what kind of results that gives us. Remember, we were just at 20, and this one is going to give us 314. So that's a big difference. I would say that's a big difference. Now let's see if I can, kind of prove it to you, or let's see if we can find the same thing occurring on Monster and Glassdoor, because that's basically what matters, right? On Monster, I have one pulled up already, CPA, CFA, or CMA. Again, of those three, if you don't have any accounting credits, CMA is by far the most easy to get. So this is a financial analyst, HR block. What else we got? A lot of medical assistants. Accounting manager, Lindsay Corporation. We already saw that one. Let's switch this one over to Houston as well. See how that goes. Houston, don't mess with Texas. Financial analyst. And this says they found 15 jobs. I mean, that's not so hot. 15 jobs. And some of these are, those medical ones we're not even interested in. We'll click on this one, make sure it's the right ballpark for what we're looking for. GAAP, accounting, CMA, CPA will be preferred. You have to understand GAAP, internal controls, SOX. Okay, no problem. Let's bounce over to, you know what? Let me actually do the same test here. We'll do CPA, accountant. And we'll stay in Houston. And 247 jobs. Tax manager, tax expert, staff accountant, analyst accounting. But anyway, we don't have time to look at all these, but I'm going to jump over to Glassdoor, because one thing that's really nice about Glassdoor is that, they at least give you that kind of price range here. So on Glassdoor, I'm only going to give five jobs. Account consultant. What do these people want? Master's degree preferred, 0 to 5 years of experience, CPA, CMA, CIA. So this is really interesting because if you think about how easy it is to get the CIA, I would say maybe a little bit easier. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to do another video, and I will leave it in the end screen. But, that's something to look at. CIA is Certified Internal Auditor. CFE is Certified Fraud Examiner. So, but for sure, these last two right here, CIA and CFE, those are way easier than the CPA for sure. So, just interesting. That accounts manager, Glassdoor is going to give us a $50,000 range basically from 48 to 94. So that's a big range. But CMA, CPA, and there's just not much in a city of 1 million people. So we'll change it. We'll go Houston. We'll see what that does for us. Maybe it'll be, fix everything for us. Again, we're with the CMA in Houston. Okay, so the CMA in Houston is going to give us 24 jobs. Senior lead inventory accountant. Good. Just regular accountant. Oil and gas assistant controller. That's interesting. I wonder how much that pays. Hisco Incorporated. Solzer GTC Technology. Senior auditor, staff accountant. So not bad. Not bad. But how many did I say? 24 jobs in Houston. That's a very, very large market, right? Very, very, very large market. So, if you just only have that and you're competing against all the other people with the CMA, I don't know, 24 jobs. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to punch in the CPA accountant designation, still in Houston. So we're going to go from 24 to, what's this going to give us? What do you think? Any guesses? 100, 200, 400? 305. So really, really interesting. Cyber tax. That is one thing that the CPA does give you. It gives you the tax piece. And the funny thing is, this is basically, it's not like these are all Deloitte, Ernst & Young, KPMG, Pricewater. These are basically, just corporations like I talked about before. So what I said earlier on in the video was, hey, look, if you want to work corporate, CMA is going to be great for you. Well, this, maybe it's kind of showing us a little something different. What does it say? $85,000 to $125,000 a year. CPA is required. You need 2 years of accounting experience. What else we got here? Houston, O'Rourke Petroleum, senior accountant, Marine Division. Let's look at a couple of these. These are interesting. 7 to 10 years of experience. I wonder, since we have 305 results, let's see what we can do as far as entry level. So if we look in Houston, now we are doing the CPA accounting. We're looking for entry level, and we've got entry level and mid level, 15 total. So there's 3 entry level, there's 15 mid level, and it's saying $42,000, $78,000. Maybe this one's a little bit less, 22 to 55. Bachelor's degree. They want the 18 hours of accounting, even if you have like a business or a finance degree. They want the CPA designation, but it's a plus, not a required thing. They want knowledge of SQL. So that's interesting. What about Forum Oil Field? Of course, big energy in Texas. No surprise. What do we have here? CPA strongly preferred. Yeah. Deloitte. Finally, we got one from Deloitte. $47,000 to $72,000. I know this isn't terribly exciting. It's not the most entertaining video, but it is interesting to look at, to see what these numbers are, to, just kick back. And I think it's an easy way for people to think about, which one do I want? How do I want to get ahead? How am I going to position myself well to make a strong income? I mean, these are good jobs. So CPA, enrolled agent, or other professional certification. So no surprise from Deloitte, someone like Deloitte. Let's clear those filters out. We'll go back to the 300 that they gave us. I think it's closing. We'll go back and we'll just look at these 300. It's really nice. There's some level of accounting, bilingual Spanish, tax expert, CPA, accountant 3. So these aren't those problems that we were having before with all those medical aid people in here. Those look like, 300 legit jobs that you could try to get if you had, let's go to the last page, if you had an accounting certification that was the CPA, the public accountant. This video is really about the CMA, and it just looks like people, it's America, so like I said, if you'd want the American version versus the international version, these are American firms, so maybe that's part of it. Maybe if we were to make this video and we looked at, say, jobs in, Saudi or something like that, what would that be? Or if you want to work in London, or if you wanted to work in, Ireland, North Africa, Asia, Hong Kong, what would that be like? But here we legitimately got, I would say, like 300 or so, jobs if you have the CPA designation. For one last little fun bit, we'll search it again one more time for the CMA, and we'll see what it says. It looks like either my computer's a little slow or there's a lot of people on Glassdoor, but 24 jobs. So that, I would say that's the difference. You can roll the dice. It is a good certification, and some of these places, they say, hey, either one, we don't care. Give us the CPA or give us the CMA. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that important to us. And so for you, that might be able to help. But man, it seems like the job hunting experience, if you're only 24 jobs out there that you really qualify for, CPA, CA, CMA designation preferred. It's going to make your whole experience of job hunting and maybe transitioning careers in the future a lot different. Now, maybe you don't have time to mess around to, make really bad money, to work part-time. Maybe you got to have some income, and so you're willing to roll the dice to get it going. You don't want to go back to school again. I understand all that. So that's all I have for you guys. That's the best that I can really say. As one quick overview, it's offered 3 times a year. It's going to cost you about $300, $300 to $400 each time you take the exam. Nice thing is you can take it as many times, basically you can take each part or either part 3 times a year. You have 3 years to pass both parts. Pass rates are 35% for part A, about 50% for part B. You have about 300 hours total if you want to be on the safe side to study for both parts, which is nice compared to some of these other certifications that take 30 hours of accounting, plus you have to then spend maybe 1,000 hours of studying to get some of these certifications. All told, you're going to spend somewhere between $900 and $1,300 just to take the exam. If you decide to buy the test prep, it's going to be another $1,000 to $1,500 if these discounts are legit. This is it. I pass the CMA certification. This just says, yep, you can take a test anytime there's a testing window, and there are 3 testing windows per year. This one says the same thing, but you're just going to have to pay the fees. And so that's the general overview. Hope that helped you guys think a little bit about CMA versus CPA.